I might know a thing or two about this one. There's a lot of things that I wish someone would have warned me about when I made that transition from the ICU bedside nurse to the ICU nurse practitioner. I'm going to just whittle it down to 5 quick things I thought about when I read this question. Number 1, you don't know Jack. Just accept that. You don't know Jack. You might know a couple things about critical care nursing, but you don't know Jack about being a critical care nurse practitioner. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. And that's not just with your physician and provider colleagues. That's also with your nursing staff. Number 2, segue from number 1, you're going to be wrong a lot. A lot. Did I mention a lot? A lot. You're going to be wrong quite a bit. You should get used to being wrong. It sounds hilarious, it sounds simple, but as a seasoned ICU nurse, you're actually going to have a really hard time with being wrong. In fact, you're going to battle with that inside of your brain, inside of your ego quite a bit. So try and figure out how to navigate through the idea of being wrong. You know, you're probably laughing at me and laughing at yourself going, I know I'm going to be wrong. No, you really don't. It is such a huge blast to your ego. And it has nothing to do with me being a guy versus a girl, trust me, because I've heard this from many new providers in the ICU. Being wrong more than you're right just knocks you down to a new level that you hadn't experienced. Number 3, the biggest challenge for many nurses in your position is going from the expert role to the novice role in a matter of weeks or months. This question was asked by a seasoned ICU nurse who is now an ICU nurse practitioner. You just went from being an expert in your field at your moment in time in your role to being the clueless deer in headlights individual. Think about it for a split second. When you were at work, nothing really fazed you like it was new to you, like it was foreign to you. Most individuals came to you because they had questions, because they needed help, because they had something that didn't make sense. They were seeking your advice. They wanted your expert tutelage because you've been doing this a hot minute. Now you're the novice who is completely clueless, and you're out asking everybody for help. And it's a really hard role transition. And not many NPs in your position are willing to recognize that. If you can muster up the ability to recognize that you are a novice and that you're going to embrace that role, you just might have a chance. Number 4, never forget where you came from. I don't care how hard you worked, how long it's taken you to be an NP. Please don't forget where you came from. Please never forget what it was like to be the bedside nurse. An example is, you know very well that your patient has a Foley catheter and that it's a breeding ground for a possible infection. And the sooner you get the Foley out, the better. Now, if you're also diuresing your patient, even though both those things are important, you should take into consideration of diuresing and then taking the Foley out. And you're laughing at me as if come on, Sean. Oh, come on. You know I'm going to remember that. No, you're not going to remember it because you're going to be so focused on being the new person and so focused on being paranoid about diuresing your patient and so focused on making sure your patient doesn't get a CAUTI because CAUTIs cost thousands upon thousands of dollars and it's part of a QI initiative. Yeah, you're going to have to make absolutely sure that you remember whatever your direction is and the orders that you're placing, that bedside nurse has to carry them out, and that you were that bedside nurse. So do your best to remind yourself of what that was like. And last but not least, and this is difficult to wrap your brain around because you're so focused on learning your new job, and you're so focused on proving yourself, and you're so focused on wanting to be right, and you're so focused on just exercising your new mental muscles that you got to remember it's not about you. It's not about the bedside nurse. It's not about the doc. It's not about the specialist, intensivist, surgeon, anesthesiologist. It's not about the respiratory therapist. It's not about who's the smartest person in the room. This is about the patient. And if you can focus on that every day, with every decision you make, you're going to make life a whole lot easier. I did not. For the first year, maybe 2 years, I was always focused on trying to be the best I could be. And I was focused on a lot of me and a lot of perfection and proving myself. Proving myself was such a huge thing when I first started this job. And I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and I hated being wrong. I would rather be right than be correct, if that makes any sense. I wanted to make sure that I made the right decision, that it was my decision, not somebody else who was part of the team, instead of doing whatever was best for the patient. And once again, this sounds so simplistic and so obvious, but you will get lost in the mix. Please try and remember, and if you can focus your efforts on remembering that this is about the patient, that first year as a new ICU NP is going to go a lot smoother than it did for me.